talk about new anticipated albums, the most anticipated albums of 2023 in the world of rock, hard rock, and heavy metal. So let's get to it. Some of the bands, they're potentially come out with new albums for the year of 2023, potentially this year. I will somewhat highly recommend to you, the viewers/listeners. By the way, I do have 5 social media platforms. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. That's right, I got 5 social media platforms. Feel free to hit the subscribe, like, and follow. All you have to do is type in a lesson and headbanging podcast with GBs, which is me, and stay on top of whatever news is in the world of rock and roll when it comes to touring, festival news, albums, and whatnot. Join the conversation for this podcast, and let me know what you guys think about what's being discussed on the podcast each and every week. But nonetheless, yes, 200 Stab Wounds. No potential release date just yet. No title for this new album, but they just stated they're going to try to come out with a new album, 200 Stab Wounds, a new record. Their 2021 breakout, Slave to the Scalpel, saying it wrong, dance gleefully in the graveyard of OSDM styling. Raising Hype earned them tours with Obituary and Cannibal Corpse in the past. That's right. And they're currently in a deal with a record label fans might know, Metal Blade Records, great record company. It's been there since what, 80s? Brian Slagle, love Metal Blade, great company. So 200 Stab Wounds, one of the bands, potentially. Another band, if you're a fan of deathcore, the Acadia Strain, potentially having a new album, 2023. Again, to be announced on titles and the release date. So this is somewhat going to be a follow-up from the 2020s Slow Decay. So the Acadia Strain, always put good stuff. You're a fan of deathcore. All right, for all the thrashers out there, the legendary Anthrax. They've been talking about writing the new album. Even Charlie Belladante, the current drummer, saying that they're trying to write some things up, cook things up for the new album. No release date nor album title yet, but obviously their previous album has been 7 years long since their last album, which was For All Kings. So expect a new Anthrax record sometime in 2023. All right, there's another one for the deathcore fans out there. August Burns Red. That's right. They got a new album coming out. This one has a date and a title. March 28th of the year 2020. Got a brand spanking new album called Death Below. So this is their 10th full-length album, including Killswitch Engage Jesse Leach and Underoath Spencer Chamberlain. Out of the 12-song track list. Sound like they're going to be some of their special guests in this album. But hey, August Burns Red, never disappoint. Very great band to check out. Speaking of another band you should check out if you haven't seen yet, Avatar. Great band over there in Sweden. They're going to come out with a brand spanking new album in 2023 called Dance Devil Dance. Coming out on February 17th. So if you're a fan of Swedish heavy metal, Avatar, great band. If you haven't seen them live, go check them out. Highly recommend them. So, February 17th, Dance Devil Dance, the legend, well, soon to be legendary in a couple of years, Avatar. All right, Avenged Sevenfold, potentially could have a new album in 2023. Shadow has been teasing, we're in the studios. Drums are done, guitars are done, bass are done. We are mixing. It will come out soon. It's been what? 3, 4, 5, 6 years. 2016, the last album, which was the Stage. I believe that album came out as a surprise the next following morning. Like everybody woke up and, hey, there's a new Avenged Sevenfold album that just came out. Like, what the hell? It hasn't been promoted. Again, it was just a big surprise for a lot of the fans. Could they do it for this new album? Just randomly, one day you wake up out of bed and the brand spanking new Avenged Sevenfold album is out. Or could they release a single prior? Still, you have to wait to see what's going on in the world of AX7, but maybe we could get a new album in the year of 2023. All right, this one fans may dig into or not. Again, not judgmental. Babymetal. They're coming out with a new album called The Other One on March 28th. Again, if you're a fan of, it's more of a, it's like more of a girl band, a 3-piece girl band from Japan. If you haven't heard of them or seen Babymetal, again, they're different. I guess they're considered a Japanese kawaii metal group's first ever concept album. So again, not laughing. If you're a fan of Babymetal, if you don't know who they are, go check them on YouTube. They're coming out with a new album called The Other One on March 23rd. Not the 28th, the 23rd to be exact. All right, the band Baroness could potentially come out with a new album as well. Again, to be announced on title and release date as well. So if you're a fan of Baroness, great band by the way, they could come out with a new album in 2023. All right, here's a band, an OG lineup. Original group here, Biohazard. Yes, if you know, Pioneers are set to play shows in 2023 this year with the OG lineup of Evan Seinfeld, Billy Gradazelli, probably saying the name right, Bobby Hamble, and Danny Schuler to celebrate their, I believe, their 35th anniversary. That's a lot of years. But Biohazard is planning on hitting the studio, record a new album, new material for the year of 2023. Again, to be announced on the title and title release date. So stay tuned for new Biohazard. Another band to be announced, but could potentially have a new record for the year of 2023. The Black Dahlia Murder. Yes, ever since the metal world lost the late great Trevor Sturnad. Rest in peace, brother. Obviously, the band's moving on. And I guess their next up is writing new material. So we have to wait and see what the Black Dahlia Murder will cough up for the year of 2023. I'm pretty sure it's going to kick all forms of ass, of course. If you ever heard them or seen them, if you're a fan of like a melodic, I'm not going to say melodic, more of a black metal, death metal, traditional metal, thrash, a little bit of everything. But if you're a fan of all this, this is the band you should check out. The Black Dahlia Murder, again, could cough up another album in 2023. All right, speaking of a legendary band here, legendary rapper Ice-T and his metal band Body Count could have a new album. Not could, because he might. He will. And so far, the album name of this new album potentially is called Merciless. To be announced on the date, but as mentioned, they already got a title track set and ready to go. They just got to have a date for it. And obviously their last album, which was dropped on 2014, called Manslaughter. In February 2022, Body Count started recording their latest LP with us. And according to the band's frontman, it will not disappoint. Only one goal, as Ice-T said, gotta be hard than the last one, and it already is. So looking forward to Ice-T and his metal band Body Count in 2023. As I mentioned, no date is announced for it, but expecting new album called Merciless coming out of 2023. So what else is coming out in the world of rock and heavy metal in the year of 2023? Well, for the fans out there who are fans of how you use this band, maybe grindcore. If you're a fan of the early 2000s metalcore type band, I guess you could say this band is involved when it comes to their sound. When I mean involved, they got into more techno. They've been changing. They got solid singles that came out the past couple of years, and this band is bringing me the horizon. Yes, this band has been constantly changing throughout the years, and they've been talking about going back to the metalcore days. But they potentially could have a new album in 2023. Again, to be announced on the album title or the release date, but they've been talking about going back to the roots of the metalcore. So we'll have to see what Bring Me the Horizon could call. Time I Die broke up last year, or I think it's 2021 they broke up. But Keith Buckley, he keeps saying he's going to have a new band. It's going to be a lot heavier than Every Time I Die. But they could potentially have a new album under a new band, under a new name for Keith Buckley. We'll have to wait and see what Keith will whip out in the year of 2023 when it comes to music. All right, Cannibal Corpse, for all the death metal fans out there. Cannibal Corpse has been unloading sonic torture scenes for the past 30 years. Obviously, the last album was in 2021, Violence Unmanaged LP on Image. I'm saying it wrong, but great album. I heard it. Kicks all forms of ass. And they've been talking about hitting back to the studio for a new album. Cannibal Corpse, never disappoint. Looking forward to a new album in 2023. Again, to be announced for a title date and album name. All right, Chicago very own. That's right, Chevelle. If you're a fan of hard rock, their last album, which was Nartias, which came out in 2021. Another band, if you're a fan of hardcore, metalcore, and industrial, can't speak. If you're a fan of Code Orange, I've been a big fan of these guys for years now. But they've been talking about getting back to the studios. We'll see what sound they'll go for this new album. Obviously, the last album was more of a industrial, Nine Inch Nails type of band, influence type of album they released out. We'll see what direction they will go for the new album. So, 23, legendary rock band The Cure. They got a song title album called Songs of the Lost World. To be announced, according to the frontman Robert Smith, a merciless one that leads into the doom and gloom of their goth classics. So I assume they're planning to go back to their doom and gloom classic sounds, probably off the new album, to be announced as of right now. But it seems like right now they're going to try to do a more of a progressive album as well. So stay tuned if you're a fan of The Cure. They got a brand spanking new album called Songs of the Lost World, to be announced on a date. All right, another band, classic electronic rock legends, Depeche Mode, got a new album called Memento Mori. Release date is in springtime, no exact date, but if you're a fan of electronic rock from the 80s, Depeche Mode got a brand spanking new album called Memento Mori. Should be springtime of 2023. All right, Clouds out of California. If you know this band, if you're a fan of heavy metal out of California, Des Fafara, not Cold Chamber, but the other band he's in, Devil Driver, got a new album coming out in 2023 called Dealing with Demons 2. To be announced on the exact date, but expect a new album in 2023. Obviously, Dez is going to be doing a couple shows with the reuniting Cold Chamber for select festival dates. But at the meantime, Devil Driver, yeah, they're going back to the studio. Pressure's going to kick all forms of ass. Let me know what you think in the comments section. What else is going on? If you're a fan, more of a death metal, tech death metal, if you consider that category of this band, I'm a big fan of this band. I've seen them a couple times, called Dying Fetus. If you're a fan of this band, yeah, they're going to whip out a brand spanking album. Uncertainly when and where and how, but it's going to be coming out sometime in 2023. But yes, they're going to heading back to the studio. Do Dying Fetus music coming out in 2023, blasting through your speakers. All right. Another band, they have toured with Limp Bizkit all the way up to Devil's Wears Prada. So, yes, they're going to be heading back to the studio, but as uncertainty on when, time, and what the actual title name is going to be, expect new Dying Wish in 2023. All right, Every Time I Die. I'm not sure if they're going to continue with the name since Keith Buckley is starting his own thing here. As I mentioned, Keith Buckley's starting his own band, a lot heavier. Every Time I Die, the other members, what they're going to do, they're going to continue with that name. They're going to just keep on touring with that group and start with a new name. Uncertainly, but they expect some new music sometime in the year of 2023. All right, if you're a fan of industrial metal pioneers, Fear Factory, yes, they're coming out with a new album. Yes, they have a new lead singer. We don't know who's the lead singer. He is unknown. According to Dino Cazares, who's the guitarist of Fear Factory, he said he's very unknown. He's one of those special guys in the local area that a lot of people don't know. So we have to yet to unsee who's the new frontman. I know they're going on tour in the winter of 2023, at the beginning of the year. But yes, they're going to be going on tour 2023. Brand spanking new album according to the article here, they're heading into the studio in early 2023. So maybe they'll have this bad boy released by the end of the year after recording and mixing it. But we'll have to wait and see. But expect potentially new Fear Factory music sometime of 2023. All right, this is for all the hard rockers out there. If you're a fan of Godsmack, obviously they released a new single a couple months ago. It's pretty good. They've got a new album that's going to come out on February 24th, Lighting Up the Sky. I believe it's available for pre-order. Go check it up. You're a fan of Godsmack. Of course, Sully Erna, the frontman and vocalist, said this could be pretty much Godsmack's last record. They're not done touring. They're not retiring. They're just not making no more music. Maybe they'll put out singles here and there, but this could potentially be Godsmack's last album ever. So check out the new album from Godsmack, Lighten Up the Sky, February 24th. All right, if you're a fan of Swedish melodic death metal, the pioneer is called In Flames. Yes, they got a brand spanking new album called Forgone coming out on February 10th. Again, In Flames, never disappoint. And again, if you're a fan of melodic death metal, this band, highly recommend. Again, February 10th, called Forgone. So brand spanking new music in 2023 from In Flames. All right, if you're a fan of hardcore, this band called Judas Priest. Haven't seen this band. Heard them. Really good. Again, new album to be announced on the title and release date, but sound like it's going to kick all forms ass. So expect Peace album in 2023. Now for all the classic heavy metal fans out there, the metal gods, Judas Priest. They've been talking about heading back to the studio. Their last album, which was Firepower, back in 2018. I love that album. That album rips. And I'm pretty sure the new album's going to rip as well. I believe Andy Sneap's going to be doing a little behind-the-scenes producing, mixing on the album. Obviously, he's part of the band, playing guitar on stage with Priest. But expect new Priest music potentially in the year of 2023. All right, another unknown band from one of the great thrash metal pioneers, former Slayer, I guess he Slayer, whatever you want to say, Kerry King. Yeah, he's having a new band. Potentially, he's going to be doing new music in 2023, featuring Slayer drummer Paul Bostoff. And it sound like fans have kind of got a gist of it. They could sound like Slayer. So we have to wait and see what Kerry King's music sounds like. Few select people heard it, and they said it sounds awesome. So we'll have to wait and see what he's going to do with this solo band or super group. Kerry King and whoever who will join going to do a tour. They're going to do a studio album only. All right. If you're, again, classic metal right here. King Diamond. I love King Diamond. Yeah, he just wrapped up his U.S. tour and the fall tour with Merciful Fate. Great. Love Merciful Fate. Well, King Diamond's going to be doing a solo thing here. Coming out with a potential... Well, sounds like it's going to come out in 2023, called The Institute. That's the title name. A date. When will it come out? Sometime in 2023. Where? We don't know. But right now, the time frame is in the year of 2023. Expect a new album from King Diamond called The Institute. It's going to be great. Obviously, under the Brian Slagle's Metal Blade Records. Great album. Great record company. All right. Again, if you're a fan of metalcore, hardcore, Knock Loose. Great band. Obviously, the last EP will find a release date, but expect some Knock Loose to hit the studio in 2023. Another fine band if you're a fan of progressive rock, progressive metal, Mastodon. Great band. Yeah, they're heading back to the studio from their last album, which was in 2020, Hushed and Grim, which was an 86-minute long double album. And yes, they're heading back to the studio. They're going to crack up a brand spanking new album sometime in 2023. But if you're a fan of Mastodon, they're going to be cracking up a new album sometime in 2023. All right, for all the thrash metal fans out there, the mighty Metallica. Yeah, Lux Eterna. Yeah, they came out a couple months ago. In 2022, for the single coming off the new album, which is called 72 Seasons. Yes, they got a worldwide tour starting in 2020 this year and 2024 of next year, doing a stadium tours in the United States and across the world. Yeah, 72 Seasons, which is the new album that's going to be whipped out by Metallica. The release date, April 14th. Obviously, I believe you can pre-order right now on the Metallica website. But yeah, brand spanking new Metallica album, 72 Seasons, April 14th. Can't wait to hear it. This is from the following record from 2016, Hardware to Self-Destruct. It was a great album. I love that album. But wait and see if this will match up against Hardwire or not. But I'm looking forward to the new Metallica album, Seasons 72, April 14th. Here's a band here I saw in the year of 22 with Rob Zombie. If you know this band, from Peoria, Illinois, a little band called Mudvayne. They've been teasing about getting back to the studio to write new material. So we have to wait and see if we're going to get brand spanking new Mudvayne music. It's been how many years? Since what? 2009? That's been 10 plus years since we had new Mudvayne music. So obviously the tour was a success with them reuniting in the year of 2022. We'll have to wait and see if they'll whip out new music and a new album for Mudvayne sometime of this year. All right, for all the old school death metal bands out there, Obituary. They got a brand spanking new album called Dying of Everything, coming out on January 18th. I love Obituary. These guys get, every new album, not just in death metal, even thrash metal, a lot of the new bands, not new bands, older bands from the 80s, part of the thrash and death metal scenes gets better. The production gets better each and every time. One of the many bands like Testament, another band that just gets, the production level, the music level, everything gets just out big each other. Exodus, another band that just outdoes one record to another record, and I'm like, how can they outdo that one? They sure hell did. Obituary is one of those bands, along with Cannibal Corpse, out of the death metal Florida scene. And they got a brand spanking new album called Dying of Everything, which should be coming around in a couple weeks, right here in January of 2023, January 18th to be exact. Go out and support Obituary's new album. I highly recommend if you're a fan of death metal. All right, if you're a fan of djent metal, progressive djent metal, little band called Piffery. Yes, they're coming out with a new album. Now, their last one was back in 2019 called Piffery for Hell Satan. They got a brand spanking new album sometime in the mid of 2023. So, no specific date or title yet, but expect new Piffery music in the year of 2023. All right, if you're a fan of this little band called Poppy, yeah, they're going to come with a new album. Their last one was 20. Well, not the last, which was called I Disagree. And then they had a full-length album, which was in 2022, called Stagger EP. So, yes, they're back to the studio. Expect new Poppy music in 2023. All right, this awesome thrasher band from Texas called Power Trip. I love Power Trip. Yes, they're heading back to the studio. So since the death of the late frontman Riley Gale, rest in peace, since August of 2020, the band's been kind of quiet. Yes, they're planning on moving forward as well, but they're going to try to pick things up. Hopefully head back to the studio, trying to rip out another thrashing album. So maybe we can expect a new Power Trip album in 2023. Stay tuned. All right, this is for all the people who are a fan of a dance rock. I guess you can categorize this band. Queen are coming out with a new album sometime of 2023. Again, to be announced on a date or title album. So, this list keeps on going. Slaughter to Prevail. If you're a fan of Russian deathcore, yeah, this band is coming out with a new album. Great band if you're a fan of deathcore. To be announced. Again, an unknown name of the title album or date, but expect a new Death to Prevail album in 2023. All right, if you're a fan of this band from the 90s called Smashing Pumpkins, yes, Billy Corgan and the boys are whipping out 2 more albums. It's more of a double album, triple album, whatever you want to call it, concept album. Smashing Pumpkins are going to come out with. And the first one's going to come out on January 31st, the Autumn Act 2. And Act 3 will come on April 23rd. So expect 2 albums coming out from the Smashing Pumpkins. Autumn Act 2, which comes out January 31st, and Autumn Act 3, April 28th. Brand spanking new albums, 2 albums from Smashing Pumpkins. All right, guitar feature also. The guitar is for Demi Lovato. Nita Strauss. Yeah, she's going to be whipping out new music sometime in the spring of 2023. Stay tuned for that as well. She always makes good music, doing her side projects. If you're a fan of the pioneers of deathcore, yes, Suicide Silence, they're going to have a brand spanking new album coming on March 10th called Remember You Must Die. So, whipping out with a new album with vocalist Eddie Hermida. Great vocalist. It's going to be good stuff. Can't wait for the new Suicide Silence record. I know they came out with a few singles in 2023. Rager, of course. But, looking forward to the new Suicide Silence album, Remember You Must Die, March 10th. Good stuff. And lastly, as I mentioned, a thrash metal icons from the 80s, Testament. I love Testament. Expect a new album late 2023. Yes, they're going to be doing a couple tours in 2023, I believe. I think in Europe. But yes, one of the Godfathers of double bass, Dave Lombardo, is behind the drum kit in Testament. I got a chance to see the band on their Bay Area Strikes Back tour of 2022. These guys kick all forms ass, and they sound great. Yes, Dave Lombardo, yes, he will be behind the drum kit, hopefully on this new album, and expect the New Testament album in 2023, late of this year. All right, these are the most anticipated albums from the legendary rock, hard rock, and metal bands of the year. Again, there could be more. There could be more, and maybe I haven't reached or touched yet. Again, if you have bands I haven't mentioned yet, they're going to come out with a new record. I mean, any genre in the world of rock and heavy metal, classic rock as well. Hit this, just drop it right now in the comment section. Let me know what you think, or follow me on my socials, my 5 socials media pages at Less Than Headbanging Podcast with GBs, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Those are the 5. Hit me up on there. See me on IM, subscribe, like, do whatever you want to abuse it and headbang it, because it's going to be good year for rock and roll.